Yesterday, it was officially announced that the Twisted Metal series starring Anthony Mackie will be renewed for a second season on the Peacock streaming service. During this year's The Game Awards, where the show was nominated for Best Adaptation, Mackie formally announced that Twisted Metal Season 2 has been officially greenlit. Shortly after, showrunner Michael Jonathan Smith released a statement thanking fans, while Peacock also released their own announcement video featuring the character Sweet Tooth. And that announcement video with Sweet Tooth isn't super long, so here I'll just play the whole thing.
We're here for something important.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, just simple to the point. I mean, obviously, they don't really have anything filmed for it yet. I mean, that's just a teaser or just an announcement, and that's it. It's not even qualify as a teaser trailer. But anyway, I mean, I think it is good news that it was officially announced that it's getting a season 2, because even though the first season, the way it ended, did set up for a second season, you don't know with these things, because a lot of times you will see those setups, but the show doesn't actually take off. So we never get the second season. But with this show, I mean, it was one of those situations after it came out, it was actually pretty well received amongst fans of the Twisted Metal franchise. In the 2 weeks since the video game adaptation launched, it has become the streamer's most binged comedy premiere to date. According to NBC Universal, the average account watched about 3 episodes per sitting, with some opting to knock out all 10 in a single viewing window. Nielsen data shows that Twisted Metal drew 400 million viewing minutes in the weekend following its July 27th premiere, making it one of the week's most watched streaming originals. And while the show might not have resonated as much with critics, they still did give it a mediocre positive review, but audiences really did like this show. In fact, this was something I really wasn't expecting, because when I first saw the initial trailers for it, I mean, I didn't think it necessarily looked bad, but I mean, I was just kind of like, really, this is what they're going with when it comes to a Twisted Metal TV series? Well, first of all, I mean, a Twisted Metal series just seems like something that wouldn't work on paper, but you know, they actually were able to pull this off, and I didn't get into it right away. I mean, it was probably out for maybe a few days before I started hearing people talk about the show actually being good, so I had to check it out myself. And this Forbes article that I found kind of summed up almost my reaction to it. It appears that Twisted Metal show may actually be good. That was kind of what I was like after the first couple episodes of it. NBC has dropped a binge release bomb on its Peacock streaming service today. Though not like a critical bomb, it turns out despite a truly bizarre initial trailer, Peacock's adaptation of Twisted Metal of all video games may actually be kind of good, fun. Well, that's a nice surprise. And that's really why this show worked. It was just a fun show. I mean, they weren't trying to stop everything dead in its tracks so that it could lecture the audience. It didn't try to shoehorn in a bunch of messages or anything like that. It was just, hey, let's get a demolition derby video game with missiles and machine guns and make a TV series out of it. But at the same time, they understood with the gameplay itself for the video games, people didn't come back to it just because of that. I mean, obviously that's a big factor in it, but people kept coming back to it and beating it as multiple characters because they were interested in the characters. And that carried over really well with the TV series too, by establishing these two characters that you followed through this journey, that you actually understood their motives pretty early on. It was set in like right there. It's like, okay, get a package from point A to point B, or you get Quiet's character. She's going for revenge. Okay, we understand the main characters. We understand their goal. These are the objectives. I mean, it's basic storytelling, but at the same time, basic storytelling works. And too often people try to, I don't know, I think they're figuring like, oh, well, we're smarter than that. We need to be more clever and do like, you don't necessarily need that for all situations. I mean, sometimes you just want to have a goofy show like this, where it's like, you just have like weird, wacky humor. You just have like crazy action scenes with vehicle mayhem and stuff like that. And it really did work for this. And I am looking forward to what they're going to be doing with the second season, because it's supposed to set up the actual tournaments themselves. And some of the additional characters were teased at the end of the first season. So I am looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with some of those characters, because I did see there was going to do Mr. Grimm, which was my personal favorite playing as in the game. So I am wondering what they're going to do with his character, and if they're going to establish more of a backstory to some of these other characters, or if they're going to be more of background ones, kind of like how Preacher was within the first season. I don't know, but they haven't released anything else. We don't got a release date or a teaser or anything like that. It was just this announcement. So I am curious what's going to happen when they give us more information on this. But right now I am looking forward to the second season.